Hello, and welcome to the Reader's Cafe. Today on our show, we will be having Barbara Kingsolver come to share with us her latest book, The Bean Trees.
Hello.
Hello, Barbara.
How are you?
It's an honor to meet you. Good to have a seat. So, your latest book, The Bean Trees, today. As we know, a lot of readers have been having questions about your book and lately, and a lot of them are curious about why you had your characters go through some of the very tough decisions throughout the book. Can you answer that for us?
Well, yes. First of all, I felt that I needed.
And we're back with Barbara Kingsolver here today with her latest book out, The Bean Trees. Barbara, lots of readers have been sending questions about why you had your characters going through some of the many tough decisions throughout the book and why they decided to make the choices that they did.
Well, I felt that I needed to illustrate the importance that nobody has an easy life. I wanted people to understand that there's people with harder lives. Most people just take life for granted, and they never have to go through these tough situations. Okay.
And we're back with Barbara Kingsolver here today with their latest book out, The Bean Trees. Barbara, lots of readers have been sending in questions and wanting to know why you had your characters go through some of the many difficult decisions throughout their book. They're wondering why did you make your characters be put in these situations?
Good question. Well, first of all, I'd like to tell you that I felt that I needed to illustrate the importance that nobody has an easy life. I wanted people to understand that there's people with harder lives. Most people just take life for granted. They never have to go through these tough decisions. Many people feel that my characters are somewhat like they go through very tough situations, but it seems that they end up finding a way to end up resolving their problems. And this can actually relate to actually thinking about real life situations in life.
And we're back as well. Barbara, another question that's been brought up lately in a lot of readers' comments and whatnot is why did you have Taylor take in Turtle? I mean, she wasn't even a real child. She didn't even know the mother. It was just such a bizarre scene that readers are curious why you had that happen in the story.
Well, good question. Well, first of all, I wanted the reader to think that there's like a lot of bad people out in this world, and people think that there's no good people left. And so by giving Turtle to Taylor, that would demonstrate that there's actually good people out there still. And I wanted to help show that even with her being so many evil influences, that there was still good people, and I wanted to help in life. To show how we all need support, and that by helping others, we will help ourselves later on. I wanted to show that we all have some good in us.
Alright. Are we gonna keep going?
Yeah.
And we're back. Barbara, another thing that readers were really curious about was in the scene where you had Taylor bringing in Turtle, just accepting her into her life even after all that hardships of trying to move on with her life and not being brought down with motherhood. Readers are curious why did you have Taylor taking Turtle just like that?
Well, I wanted to show how Taylor's a good person. Many people think now in the present that this world's full of crime and bad people, but I wanted to help show that even with there being so many bad influences, that there's still good people that want to help other people in life. To show how we all need support, and that by helping others we help ourselves later on. I wanted to show that we all have some good in us.
Excellent answer. Another important concept that was also brought up was in the part where you had Esteban and Esteban and Taylor, revealing this part where Esteban actually had a daughter back in
Guadalajara.
exactly, yes. And that we were curious, why did you why?
Why, dude?
And we're back. And we are back with Barbara Kingsolver, our guest speaker today with her latest book out, The Bean Trees. Another thing that readers are having questions about was the Ismene scene with Esteban and Taylor. They're curious about why did you have that scene in with Esteban revealing that? We're curious why did, mainly, I guess the question here is, why did you have Esteban move on with his life and give up his daughter, even give up his daughter just so he could save those other people that I mean, they weren't family, but they're also friends, you know?
Yeah, well, I wanted to help illustrate some of the common world horrors that we have never have to think about. Ismene was one of those key parts. I wanted to show that tough decisions that Esteban and Esperanza had to do in saving those other people, even though that meant they wouldn't be able to have their daughter with them anymore from the kidnapping. I wanted people to realize that the world horrors that occur without us truly is known and trying to do something to help. Let's redo that one.
And we are back here today with Barbara Kingsolver with her latest book, The Bean Trees. Another thing that readers brought up lately was, why did you have that scene with Esteban and Taylor? And we're really curious about this decision that you had Esteban and Esperanza making and giving up their child from that latest kidnapping that just happened down in their back home. Was it Guadalajara?
Yes.
And basically, we're curious, why was it that you had Esteban and Esperanza choose to give up their daughter to save those other people?
Oh. I wanted to help illustrate some of the common world horrors that we may never think about. Ismene was one of those key parts. I wanted to show that tough decisions that Esteban and Esperanza had to do in saving those other people, even though that meant they wouldn't be able to have their daughter with them anymore from the kidnapping. I wanted people to realize that the real world horrors that occur without us truly knowing and trying to do something to help.
And we're back again. Barbara, we're curious, did you have this all planned out in the story? We're curious, is there a certain reason why you finally progressed Luann in the story to a certain point that when Angel came back asking for her back after their torn apart marriage, that you finally gave her the willpower to move on with her life and deny him? Was this planned out or?
About Angel?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I wanted to show the growth that Luann has since the beginning of the story, in which she was madly in love with Angel, which means that the person that didn't treat her right was a woman. Okay, restart.
I told you to stop. And hello, we're back again with Barbara Kingsolver. Barbara, another choice that you had your characters going throughout the book was, especially with Luann and Hel in the book, we're curious, did you have this planned out that you were going to have Luann progress through the story and become this like initiative woman? And then like with this important scene back where she decided not to take Angel back, especially when he came back to her and asked for her to come back with him.
Oh, I wanted to show the growth that Luann had since the beginning of the story, in which she was madly in love with Angel. To show that Angel didn't treat her right as a woman and as a wife. I wanted to show how Luann progressed in the story and then in the end made the decision to move on with her life from this horrible person. She really took control of her life.